What's up and what's good, everybody? I'm Jack Harrison. We welcome you to week 4 of the PrepZone football preview. That's Dan Young, sports director, and that's David Mitchell from the Ledger Inquirer. And guys, we're talking about something that hasn't happened since the Gerald Ford administration.
I wasn't alive then, so
I don't think any of us were alive then.
Yeah.
Columbus is 3-0.
Yeah.
And they're taking that 3-0 record to face off against Marion County. It's a Thursday nighter.
Yeah.
But it's a really huge matchup between St. Bassie of Columbus and Lorenzo Smothers of Marion County.
And it's easy to get there. I love both of those guys too. This is two teams. I know those are the highlights and those are the two guys that make plays for them. But I mean, this is two good teams going against each other.
Yeah.
Two teams that have had a tremendous amount of success. Marion County for the last few years, Columbus this year. And, I think Phil Marino's got to be happy, especially with how that offensive line is open up for the running game. And that opens it up for Bassie when he gets the ball on the outside, too.
I asked him today, and maybe he won't be too thrilled about me sharing, but I asked, where were you in 1974? He was playing middle school football. That's...
Where at?
He didn't say. He didn't say. Should have had that info ready. But that's a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a long time since Columbus has been 3-0. And of course, that year they started the season off 11-0 and lost in the second round of the playoffs. But it's a big deal for this program simply because they're starting to finish some football games. They're starting to get that winning feeling, and a win over Marion County would just further validate what they've already.
A win over Marion County.
That's a team
that's colossal.
Yeah.
Let's acknowledge what Columbus has done so far, which is there is really, an ability to win games that sometimes you shouldn't. I think they should have won all the games that they've won. I actually think they should have won a few of them a little bit more impressively than they did. Manchester comes to mind. That I think Columbus is a lot better than what Manchester is. But that was, I think, a one-score game by the end
2013.
of it. Yeah, so it was a one-touchdown game. But at the end of the day, they won the game. So I'm not going to nitpick and say, well, Columbus could have done better. Columbus has a chance to beat Marion County. And I didn't think I would say that at the beginning of the season.
No.
I think Columbus knows that they should have done better against Manchester, and I think that that's something that they take to heart, and they can say, we're 3-0, but we still have something to build off of. And that was the whole point that they were giving me today, which is, we're 3-0 in non-region play.
Yeah.
And it's great to be 3-0, and it's great for the community that we're 3-0 because it hasn't happened in so long. But none of it matters until region play. But look, and we're talking about this one game this week against Marion County. I agree. I think they have a chance to. They played Marion County close last year. It was a 3-point game. So I think they can win that game. But further than that, I think they can make the playoffs.
Oh, for sure.
And 1-5A, we've said it over and over again the last few weeks, is wide open as anything.
And especially in that region, one thing that can really win is tough physical football, and that's what Columbus has been playing, especially in the trenches.
And that's kind of opposite of what everybody in that region plays, because you think of Shaw, you think of Northside, you think of
spread it and air it out.
Spread, air it out, hit the sweeps and everything.
We've talked about the X factor being St. Bassie, and he's obviously the X factor, and he's the best athlete on the team. But there are other guys that have stepped up, like you mentioned, the offensive line, the defensive line in the trenches that have really made a huge difference for Columbus.
Yeah.
In this game, St. Bassie is going to make the difference if they win the football game, because a guy like Lorenzo Smothers, I don't know how many guys can cover Lorenzo Smothers. St. Bassie is one of them.
Right.
And I'm not saying St. Bassie is going to shut him down. I'm saying we're going to have one of the best one-on-one matchups of the season between those two guys. Those are phenomenal athletes, and Bassie is one of the guys who is quick enough, shifty enough, smart enough to hang with Lorenzo Smothers.
I would say on special teams, especially, there is a pretty good chance that
we're going to have
you'll have a
return.
Like a kickoff return, St. Bassie runs for a touchdown, and then Lorenzo Smothers comes back the other way.
We're probably not supposed to be talking about sports betting, but if I'm betting on the odds,
especially in high school,
if I'm betting on
that's
the
not
odds
a good
of there
thing.
being a kick or punt return in this game, I think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
make sure right now, highlight of Lorenzo Smothers tight-roping the sideline, breaking 7 tackles. There's some work for you.
Are we going to do this again?
Every week. Yeah, absolutely, man.
I mean, that can at least overlay. You don't have to go find the clip and play the audio of it.
Roll the clip. And we're
And
back.
we're back. All right, there you go. Good job, Dan.
I like that Nat sound you popped in there. Or you can, the play of the night. I think I already cut that video for the web. You can find that and use it.
Let's give him a break, Dan. Let's give him a break.
Gosh, here we go again.
By the way, Lorenzo Smothers, 2 plays of the night so far on the Prep Zone in 4 weeks.
Yep.
6 touchdowns in two games for him. And look, I don't know how if there are a whole lot of people that look into the historical touchdowns and stuff like that, but we're starting to get into a zone to watch for Lorenzo. He's not going to catch all-time touchdowns. That's
Right.
Deshaun Watson. He's you might have heard of him playing for
Clemson.
Clemson.
He's
this
pretty
year.
good.
He's a decent player.
Heisman
But
watch cam.
Lorenzo is starting to creep into that top 10 area for all-time touchdowns. He's got a lot of them, and he's going to get a lot more.
One
this
thing from
year,
Marion
so.
County that I'd be watching out for: don't look ahead to Pacelli.
That's true.
One thing I will say about
Or
Bassie,
Columbus looking ahead to Carver. It works both ways.
with Bassie and Smothers, I just love that they are great guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great leaders for their teams. Gosh, I don't know if you could ever even consider a discipline issue. And there's nothing like that. They're so squeaky clean. So like they're great leaders. You couldn't ask for anything better. I know Mike Swaney says the same thing. I know Phil Marino says the same thing. They are the leaders of their teams, both in their play and in their attitude. And it's good to see the good guys be successful.
But there are about 100 other players who
Yeah.
are in this game who are going to make a difference.
For sure.
So,
Yeah. And I want to give a shout out to Coach. I want to give a shout out to Coach Marino too, because little known fact, he was my PE coach in middle school
Oh.
at East Columbus.
there you go.
So I got to give a shout out to Coach Marino.
What up,
He's
Coach?
doing good things.
Good
at
job,
Columbus.
Coach.
Friday Night Tailgate Game of the week. Prattville coming down to Gary Harrison to face Red Devils, Central, and man,
Oh, boy.
man, oh man.
Big
This is-
football.
this is big boy foot-
football.
yeah.
We've used that before.
Yeah.
This is big boy football.
Like they're bigger than most people, and they're
this-
faster than most people,
This will be physical.
and they're better than most people.
Look,
both of them.
I saw Prattville last week against Smith Station, and like we said earlier, Smith Station represented themselves very well. They competed, they played hard, did some really good things. But here's the thing about Prattville: they're bigger than we are.
Yeah.
They're a lot bigger than we are.
And we're not small guys.
And they're a lot faster than we are, and they hit a lot harder than we do.
Here's one, and when we're shooting these games on sidelines and these players kind of come toward us, there are certain games you go to as a photographer with those that if a player comes toward you, you don't really move away that fast. Like, you don't want to get hit, obviously, by anybody. But there's just some, well, if they hit me, they're going to...
they might bounce off of.
Yeah, you stay up in the press box up there.
Yeah.
Because it's hard for some of those players. Who's the kid that's going to Michigan from Prattville?
Kingston Davis.
Kingston
He is
Davis
a
is
big
not-
old boy.
he's not
I don't
going-
know why Kingston Davis would be watching this show, but if you are,
Well,
you
Jack can
are
tag
a
him or
big
something.
old boy.
He's not going to come tackle you in the press box.
Yeah.
That's a smart play.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. Here's the thing about these two teams. It's kind of the immovable force against.
Oh, here we go with the wrestling puns.
Right. These are two very good defenses, two teams with some strong athletes on offense. I think the old-fashioned term, the good old-fashioned slobber knocker, I think is
How many of these are you going to use in this?
as
preview?
many as we possibly can,
But-
to describe how
It's not just you doing this,
much of a
though,
showdown this is.
because you're going to play this clip now, but this is from Monday night after I went to Central practice. When I went out there, Jamie DuBose had a can of spray paint all over the field, spray painting, beat Prattville. And he said he's got it in the weight room. He wants them to see everywhere, beat Prattville. That's this week.
Here's the thing. Last year, we saw these two teams play in Prattville in the regular season. Probably the best game of the season overall.
I agree.
It was a fantastic game.
First time Central had ever beaten Prattville.
Right.
And they did it in Prattville.
Prattville comes down in the playoffs.
The worst game Central played all year.
No Trey Samuel. And
Central gets beat
Prattville-
like a government mule.
and Prattville does what Prattville does. And their defense.
What is a
stepped up.
government mule?
It's wrestling puns, man.
But
Wrestling
tell me
puns.
what a government mule. Why does the government have mules? I'd like to know. Where does the
Ask
government
Jim Ross. Don't ask me.
Where does the government keep their mules?
I
Is
don't-
there a pin behind the White House? Is the mule a Republican or a Democrat? Is it going to vote for Trump?
I don't know what's happening over here.
I pick on him about cliches.
I just want to talk about Central and
Central and Prattville.
Please keep talking about Central.
Where were we? What was I saying?
Central Prattville, big boys.
We were talking about how Central lost to Prattville after losing Trey Samuel in the first round
in the
playoffs.
playoffs.
Right. 7 points allowed by Prattville to Central, their lowest total of the season. Central might have figured out the offense a little bit. They've played well on that side of the ball. Quan Weaver's done a great job.
His deep ball is pretty, man.
Very. And
I want to take his deep ball and put it in my refrigerator so I can look at it later.
Well, that's a weird thing to say.
What?
And
You know, when you get like the report card, you want to see it later, makes you feel good. You put it on the refrigerator, a little check mark.
That
100.
made 0 sense.
I want the picture of his deep.
Did you really just write 100 on there too?
100.
You wrote 100.
It's right there. You got a 100. That's what I give Quan Weaver on his deep balls.
Quan Weaver adds another dimension as well with his legs.
Yeah.
Which I think has helped Central to find that athletic element, that fast-paced element, that ability to get those tough yards that maybe they were struggling with a little bit.
And what he does with that too is not only do you get the tough yards, but you extend plays. It's the Russell Wilson.
Exactly.
You extend plays, and you've got the
And he's
tall.
smart with it. He's not trying to go out there and get 60 yards.
Yeah.
He's trying to get out there and get around the edge and get those 5 yards for a first down.
But if you remember, I think it was the Auburn game. He scrambles out right, looks. You can find the clip, Jack. He scrambles out right, looks, just extends the play, and then Jamal Couch ends up all by himself in the end zone.
Exactly.
Yep.
That's what can happen on plays like that. And to be honest, against a team like Prattville, who has a great defensive front as well, I think that's going to be needed, not just as an option to do more. I think that's going to be needed for your offense to stay on the field.
Now, as far as the other way, we mentioned him. Kingston Davis is. Did we mention he's a big boy?
He's a hoss.
He's a hoss. He is a load, as they say. He is a load. To
I'm
bring
not getting in
down.
front of him.
But is Central's defense up to the task?
Rontrell Turner, go get him, Rontrell.
So far, they have been this year. They've been great so far this year.
If Turner goes out and hits Kingston Davis, it might register as an earthquake.
Yeah, well, we'll have to check with the.
I'll take my seismograph.
There you go.
I keep it in the car. I don't.
Yeah,
I could start.
That might be needed.
not necessarily.
I don't have a
You're
seismograph.
covered. You're
Does
covered.
anyone here have a seismograph? Email us. news@wrbl.com.
Or tweet us at WRBL Sports.
I work for the Ledger, so.
But you're a friend of WRBL.
Yeah.
We gave you a shout out on the Twitter
You
bird,
always give me a shout out.
I always do.
especially when
I
you're at
know,
games that we
I
can't
know.
get to.
That's what I said. You always give me
He
a
makes the
shout
trip to Prattville. We stay here
can't-
for
we-
our footage
our-
of our teams, but
Yeah.
you did a good job tweeting about that game from Prattville.
Exactly.
I was
man.
doing it on my phone too.
Yeah.
Because I was down on the sideline for a change.
Oh, really? Watching Kingston Davis face to
Don't
face.
have a whole lot of room for newspapers over there. The visiting side.
Newspapers don't get respect anymore.
Nope. No
That's-
respect.
It's a sad reality.
All right, so Central Prattville. I think Central. It's tough to say. I think Central's the favorite in this game, if for nothing else, because they lost the last time against Prattville. And the last thing that I think any team wants to go face is an upset Central team.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, I have so much respect for Central for facing the schedule that they face, because even the games that they could have scheduled somebody easier, man, they were scheduling Stockbridge. And they're scheduling Opelika next week. I mean, if you get through Prattville, you have to play Opelika, one of the best teams in the state, next week. That's silly.
Yeah.
And then for your homecoming, you got this team coming from Texas, Prime Prep.
Neon Dion.
And so Central doesn't get a break. You got to play good football every week, and I think that's helped them.
Here's
Yes.
the thing. Here's a big thing too about this week, because Prattville's already beaten Smith Station. It's not necessarily totally for the region,
It's close, though.
but it's close. It's very close to being for.
And
the
we
region.
also have to keep this in mind. Keep this in mind that if Prattville comes out on top of this, or Central, whoever comes out on top of this, you got to remember, Central's already beaten Auburn.
Right.
So this played a role in last year's region standings as well, with Central beating Prattville and then Prattville losing to Auburn. Prattville, the big powerhouse, down to a 3 seed.
You know who's the forgotten team right now in that region? Is Jeff Davis in
They're
Montgomery.
playing. They're having a great season. So
Beat Auburn.
don't think they're a region contender, personally.
We're forgetting Jeff Davis. We're also forgetting the team that Auburn plays this week, Enterprise.
Yeah.
Sure.
I actually think Jeff Davis is a possible contender. I think when Jeff Davis plays Central and Prattville, they'll be the underdogs. I think they can beat one of them. I don't know if they'll beat both. Jeff Davis can shake it up.
That's the key for me is can they beat both of them. Central can beat all of them. Prattville can beat all of them. I don't know if Jeff Davis can run the table.
And like I said, we don't talk about Jeff Davis and Enterprise. Enterprise gave a couple teams a run for their money last year. Jeff Davis, I can't remember, they beat somebody last year. They beat Auburn this year.
All I know is this region, our side of it, is so much more talented, in my opinion, than the Mobile region, that they would end up kind of going against in playoff time. I think all 4 playoff teams from this region have a chance to win their first round game.
Absolutely.
And so you're looking
the same way last year.
You'll meet each other again.
Yeah,
so Central Prattville, this could be part 1, just like last year.
Yeah. So, in case this isn't exciting enough.
Yep. And Central Prattville is our Friday night tailgate game of the week down at Garrett Harrison Stadium. We'll be down there at 5 and 6 o'clock. Do you have any idea who's doing it this week?
Doing
tailgate?
It'll be Bob Jeswal.
All right, Jeswal.
And I should be out there too.
No Bob here to come dance.
Yeah, Bob's on vacation
with
this
us.
week, so
He's dancing somewhere.
He's probably dancing at his
always
house
dancing.
somewhere.
Dancing in our minds and our dreams.
You don't want to. I mean, it's not your birthday.
Not really. Well,
Yeah,
we don't need to dance.
Your birthday was last week, man.
yeah. Oh, sorry guys.
Joey,
Come on,
so
dance, man.
Come on, Joe.
so
Somebody's gotta
joining
come
us now is our weekend anchor,
Yes.
Weekend Anchor Joe Ripley.
My PrepZone debut.
What
I
I
didn't
would
mean for it to happen like this, guys.
what I would like though is you have a lovely singing voice. You probably didn't know
Yes,
that.
he's
no idea.
yes.
You can sing into my mic.
Get real close.
Yeah,
It'll be real.
get-
What do I need to sing? What,
anything, man. You're
I'll
from-
just give you the mic. Hold on. This is gonna make a weird noise.
this is going to be available.
Well, I can't take that off the track. So go for it. Hit us with some.
intro. We need a good intro, Jack.
Joining us now, a weekend sports anchor. I mean, he's not a weekend sports anchor. He's our weekend news anchor.
Just the weekend.
That
But he-
encompasses everything I do.
But he's also a huge sports fan, Georgia grad, does everything around here. Joe Ripley, we call him Joey.
Ladies and gentlemen, now performing
Yours was apparently
Joe
wasn't
Ripley.
good enough.
Because I was so inspired by the story from yesterday. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain.
Wow. That is
For purple mountains' majesty above the fruited plain.
Can we get the American flag behind
America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
God bless America, man.
I guess that does it for tonight's edition of the Prep Zone.
I don't think we can do it. We can't top that. We can't top that.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Joe Ripley.
The talented.
See him weekends on WRBL.
Thank you, guys.
That was absolutely amazing. Joe.
Thank you.
So I guess since we're done, let's wrap it up like we always do. So, tailgate game of the week. Dan, where you at this week?
I will be at Central and Prattville.
Mitchell, I'm assuming you'll be there too.
Absolutely.
I will be at Duck Samson Stadium where Enterprise will face off Auburn, another huge 2-7A matchup. I forgot Dane didn't have a mic on in the
I
first
think
place.
I spoke loudly enough to be caught on David Mitchell's
Yeah.
mic.
So scores and more at WRBL Sports on Twitter.
Scores and more. I like it.
Hey man, we don't just post scores.
Scores and more.
So scores and more at WRBL Sports on Twitter. Follow that guy at Dan Young, at LE Prep Sports, at J Patterson TV, and scores highlights galore.
Scores and more. We got it.
Yeah, PrepZone, 11:15 with Dan Young. He will give you whatever he said a couple weeks ago about football glory and everything.
Old glory. That's the football. Old glory.
God bless America, y'all. We'll see you next week for week 5 of the PrepZone football preview.
And shout out Betty Cantrell. Way to go, Jim.
Yeah.
Miss America.
Miss Georgia.
Yeah.
Oh no, I was just kidding.
Good night, America.
And Canada.
And Canada. And North America.
We're big in Canada.
Are we?
Yeah.
And Liechtenstein.
Where?
Liechtenstein.
most random European country.
I've only heard that in Model UN.
I was in Model UN.
So was I.
I won a national award for Model UN.
All right, way to rub it in.
I'm turning my
If
mic
people
off.
still use tape,
You could kill it, Neem.
right now.